Hello students, welcome to the session on working capital management. Today we have in the agenda the following items to be discussed. We start with what is working capital, we follow it up with the goal of working capital management, we continue with the concepts of working capital where we will be discussing the gross working capital concept and the net working capital concept, and this is followed by the need for working capital, and finally we arrive at the determinants of working capital. Now we will just see what is working capital management. Working capital management is concerned with the management of short term, usually a period of less than 1 year, of assets and liabilities. Working capital management is an integral part of financial management. The goal of working capital management is to manage a firm's short term assets and liabilities in such a way that a satisfactory level of working capital is maintained. Now we move on to the concepts of working capital. Short term or current assets and liabilities are collectively known as working capital. Let us know what are all these current assets and current liabilities. Current assets are all the assets that are likely to be used or converted into cash in the near future, usually a period of 1 year. Liabilities to be repaid in 1 year are current liabilities. Now we will observe the constitution of current assets and current liabilities. The current assets of a typical manufacturing company comprises of the following things. We start with inventories, and within the inventories the classification of inventories into raw materials and components, work in progress, finished goods and others. These four constitute the inventories part. This is followed by the trade debtors, then we have the loans and advances, and finally the cash and bank balances. This is part A, which deals with the current assets. Now we will see what are all the current liabilities. Current liabilities, the following are the examples of the current liabilities. We start with sundry creditors, then we have trade advances, then we have the short term borrowings from commercial banks and from others, and also provisions. Provisions are the monies set apart from the profit and loss account towards a specific liability, like provision for taxation. In this particular schematic diagram, you can see the current asset cycle. The current asset cycle consists of various assets in various forms. We start with the cash, and assuming cash as the reservoir, the cash is used to pay the suppliers who will be supplying the raw materials, or you can buy the raw materials on cash. Cash also is needed for wages and factory overheads, and raw materials and wages and factory overheads, they lead to work in progress. Then some more overheads need to be incurred to arrive at the finished goods stage, and these finished goods are sold either on cash basis or on credit basis. If it is on cash basis, immediately the arrow pointing from finished goods to cash shows that cash is replenished immediately, and if it is a credit sale, there is an intermediary stage called the accounts receivables. From finished goods you will be making sales on credit basis, so you have receivables. There is a time lag in collecting these receivables, and they also after collection will improve the cash balance. This is the current asset cycle. In fact, when we use the term current assets, that means there is a flow among these assets. That is, the assets are not stagnant, cash is always not stagnant, cash balances will be fluctuating from season to season, from month to month, from period to period. So also the raw materials position, the work in process position and the finished goods position. We now observe the concepts of gross and net working capital. Gross working capital means the sum total of current assets. We have classified current assets as inventories, cash, debtors. These are all what we call as the gross working capital. Then in the net working capital concepts, net working capital is defined as the difference between the current assets and the current liabilities. That is referring to the earlier slides, the part A of the current assets minus the part B, the current liabilities, that will result in the net working capital. Another way of viewing the net working capital is, it is that portion of the current assets which is financed with long term finances. Then we have the net working capital. Why it is needed? The net working capital is necessary because the cash inflows and outflows do not coincide, resulting in sometimes a cashless situation, and in order to tide over this we definitely need net working capital. Net working capital can be said to be the measure of the liquidity of the company. Then we move on to the need for working capital. Sufficient working capital is necessary to sustain the sales activity, and this is referred to as operating or cash cycle. The cash cycle that we are referring to is nothing but the length of time necessary to complete the following cycle of events. The first one is conversion of cash to inventory, then conversion of inventory into receivables, and conversion of receivables into cash. This is the cash cycle. The operating cycle or the cash cycle creates the need for working capital, and the need continues to exist even after the cycle is completed. We need working capital during the currency of this sales activity, because working capital is the necessary lubricant to keep the sales activity going without any friction. Then we will be observing the permanent and temporary working capital scenarios. The permanent working capital is the minimum level of working capital needed to run the cash cycle continuously. Temporary or fluctuating working capital is any amount over and above the permanent working capital. In fact, temporary working capital is required to meet fluctuating seasonal demand. Now we will be arriving at the determinants of working capital. The total working capital requirement is determined by many factors, and these are the factors which differ from industry to industry and also from time to time. We will address in general some of the factors which determine the quantum of working capital. In fact, before we actually launch into the determinants of working capital, we should understand that a minimum amount of working capital is needed for any enterprise, whether it is manufacturing, software, retail or finance or any other. But we do not have any proper model to decide the amount of working capital that can be quantified. It all differs from industry to industry and from time to time and from season to season, and now we will be observing what are the generic factors which will decide on the quantum of the working capital. The determinants are: number one is the general nature of the business. These factors are related to the conduct of business. The two relevant features are cash sales and the sale of services rather than the products. That means any company cannot have only cash sales and it will not be selling only products. Companies do make credit sales and company do have the services that they are going to offer to the customers. Enterprises can be classified based on their nature of business as follows. For instance, public utilities generally do not maintain huge inventories and the working capital requirements are relatively less. When I refer to public utility undertakings, these are the electricity companies or the telephone companies which offer services to the general public as part of the governmental departments. They do not maintain huge inventories and obviously the working capital requirements are relatively less. Coming to the trading and finance companies, these are they represent the other extreme and they need huge cash. Like for example, a finance company or a cheat fund company or a banking company, they require a lot of money and then debts. Hence, working capital requirements will be relatively large in such companies. The manufacturing enterprises fall between these two extreme situations. And these days software industry also has been making rapid strides and the need for working capital is also very much emphasized in the case of software industry, because the cash inflows and outflows do not match and there is also a lot of time lag involved when the sale is made, that is the software services are being rendered until such time the cash is collected from the customers. Then the proportion of current assets to total assets measures the relative requirements of working capital. Then the other feature or other determinant is the production cycle. What is this production cycle? The production cycle refers to the time involved in the manufacturing. This is the time between the procurement of raw materials and the manufacturing of the finished goods. In a typical manufacturing company, the final product will come when you buy the raw material, store it and convert that into a finished product. There are a lot of stages that has to go through and the cycle might be large or might be small. Usually for manufacturing companies, the production cycle is large. During this period, funds are tied up in the manufacturing process. Suppose a production cycle comprises of 60 days. So, for 60 days your investment is locked up, that means you are not getting any money and you have to take care of your survival in this 60 days of the production cycle. The production cycle differs from industry to industry. Take for example, an oil refinery. It will have a very large cycle as compared to a food and beverages industry. In an oil refinery, the production cycle is long because there are many stages through which the production has to take place, unlike a food and beverages industry where the production cycle is very relatively small, in the sense it could be some days, whereas in the case of a refinery it could be in the months. So, from these two examples you can make out that for a oil and refinery industry, the working capital requirements are more pronounced or higher as compared to a food and beverages industry. Then we have the business cycle. Business is dynamic, as all of you know, and the fluctuations lead to cyclical and seasonal changes. Most of the businesses, if the demand could be predicted, the life of a finance manager would have been better, but it is not so. Because of the dynamic nature of the business and the fluctuations in the demand, these fluctuations arise because of the cyclical and seasonal fluctuations, and because of these things also they will be impacting the working capital requirements of a company. And what is the effect of this? This leads to shifting working capital requirements. That is, I cannot start with a particular specified figure and then assume that figure to be constant, because the figure keeps on changing depending upon the cyclical or depending upon the seasonal nature of the particular business. There could be upward or downward swing of the business activity. During the upward swing of the economic activity, need for working capital will be more, and vice versa in the case of downward swing. Usually when there is an upward swing, that means business is going to take up, market is very receptive, you would like to sell more. When you would like to sell more, you have to produce more. When you have to produce more, you have to have a lot of the working capital that is needed. On the other hand, if there is sluggishness in the business activity, the demand will come down. When the demand comes down, you tend to sell less, and then most probably you will be cutting down on the production requirements also, and so much so your working capital requirements can be minimized to a great extent. The other determinant is the vagaries in the availability of raw material. Firms might sometime end up buying and stocking up the raw material as they are scarce and their demand is unpredictable. Mostly what happens is all our plans of effective working capital management will be thrown out of gear because of the market changes. There is a scarcity in the market about the availability of raw material. Then it is natural on the part of many a business to buy these raw material and then stock them up without worrying about the firm's procurement policies. So much so, this requires the firm to modify its procurement policies reflecting the market trends. Sometimes firms might go for a raw material which is cheaper in price or which is locally available. Because of the peculiar situation where the raw material is not available in the local market, we would like to buy the material from a different market and then would like to stockpile. Suppose the firm's inventory policy says that you should not have more than 2 months of raw material stock, but because of the market trends we might end up buying 4 months of inventory of raw material, because we do not know tomorrow whether the raw material is available or the market demand can be predicted. Then we also have this results, this particular what you call modification of the procurement policy might result in some spending beyond the budget or much before the production activity. Usually when we prepare the budget, we expect every department of the organization to live within the budget, but under the situations that we have discussed now, it may not be possible to live within the budget, and then you may have to go beyond the budget because the raw material is not available and then it is available at a higher price, and because of scarcity the budget sanction may be about 10 lakhs, but the current procurement might require you to overshoot your budget by about 20%, then you have got to do it because raw material availability is the most important factor which determine the thing. And similarly, sometimes you will be buying the raw material much before the production activity. Sometimes our production policies say that buy the raw material only 1 week before the actual commencement of the production, but it so happened in this present case such timing, perfect timing may not be possible. So, the firm will be buying up the raw material as and when it is available. So, it might happen that you may have to buy the raw material 15 days or 1 month before the production activity usually going to start. The other determinant is the operating efficiency. Managements these days focus on operations efficiency, which is largely internal. To stay competitive and beat the market, they tone up their operations by eliminating waste and efficiency. This increases the speed of cash cycle and improves the working capital. The operation efficiency, when we refer to, we said that it is largely internal. That is, these days because of the market uncertainties, the sales revenue that we are likely to get is being our projections are being modified, and it is largely due to market factors. We may not have any control on the top line, and the only control that we can exercise is on the middle line. Middle line refers to the expenses that we can incur, and while expenses are needed for any organization, largely the managements are concerned with the efficiency. By improving the efficiency, we can reduce lots of expenses and get more money for the rupee or more return for the rupee that we are going to spend. And it is one of the important features of any business to stay competitive and beat the market. And if you want to beat the market, you can be a market leader by many ways, but internally how well you are going to tone up your efficiency and your operations by eliminating waste. Wherever possible, wherever operations are non-value added, identify these non-value added activities and remove them, so that you will be cleaning the operations and making the cash cycle, the speed of the cash cycle will be enhanced, so much so there will be no friction and the cash will be available as and when you want, and this also improves the working capital situation. Coming to the credit policy as one of the important determinants, the credit policy of an enterprise comprises of activities such as the credit terms, the quantum of credit to both the customers and the vendors. The credit terms granted to customers might be liberal or tight, and these terms will have an impact on the working capital to be maintained. The credit terms fixed by the firm are determined by the trade practices. Every firm will have a credit policy. Because we are not operating in a situation of cash or carry, we need to extend credit to our customers, and we also survive on the credit given by our vendors. So, every firm will have a credit policy spelt out. As per the credit policy, it will contain what is the amount of credit that we can offer to our customers and what are the credit terms. That means, within how many days we are going to get back the money from the customers and things like that. Depending upon the market situation, we might say that the credit policy of the company is liberal or is restrictive. Under a liberal credit policy, the firm extends credit which suits the convenience of the customers. In the case of a tight credit policy, it is the other way around. Then growth and expansion. When the company is in a growth phase, it needs more working capital. It is, however, a challenge to determine the relationship between the firm's growth plans and the increase in the working capital. We have also seen the uncertainty in raw material availability, and the other factor is the dividend policy. Whether you want to pay the dividend in the form of cash, or would you like to defer dividend payment and then issue bonus shares. These also are the factors which have a bearing on the working capital. For most of these software companies, paying dividend which is running to 300 to 400% of the is the order of the day, and there you require a lot of cash. We now arrive at the conclusions. We have seen lot of factors affecting the working capital requirements. Some of these factors are external to the company, while some of them are sure internal to the company. That means, if you want to decide working capital requirements, the working capital requirements cannot be determined in isolation or purely by studying the internal environment of the company. You need to take care of the external factors. That means, the lot of changes that are taking place in the macroeconomic environment. For example, the bank rate, its impact, and the instructions given to the commercial banks as to what should be their lending norms. These will have an impact and will have a bearing on the quantum of credit available to the borrowers, and also decides the working capital requirements which a company will have. Similarly, internal factors also we have seen, and every finance manager is concerned or is preoccupied with the working capital management issues also, because in any working capital management issue, the finance manager is concerned with a liquidity position and an illiquidity position. That means, to speak in simple terms, he or she has to avoid the cash crisis or the cash crunch. When all the activities are taking very fine, you cannot expect the company to wait for the availability of cash or the availability of credit. That only reflects that the affairs of the company are not being managed properly. No proper planning has been made for the working capital. And sometimes even in the activity, there will be a flurry of activity, in the sense lot of cash keep coming into the business, and if you do not properly manage the cash, cash being an idle asset will not be generating any excess funds, and then there will be a scope for not a proper management of the cash, which is a necessary ingredient of the working capital. And there are also issues like operating efficiency. We have got to be efficient in whatever you do, because every money or every rupee that you are borrowing from outside, you are accountable to the general to your shareholders. And finally, working capital management requires efficient planning, and you need to constantly review the needs of a company. The needs of a company will be differing. When the company is just floated, the requirements are different. When the company is an expansion mode, the requirements will be entirely different. And when there is a credit crunch, or for example when the market is not really receptive to what you produce, then different situation is going to be there. So, it requires constant monitoring of the changes that are taking place to properly understand as to what you require. If you do not, for example, keep your eyes on the development that are taking place, then it will be very difficult to manage your working capital. Thank you.